At the funeral of his granddaughter, suspecting something was wrong, the old man approached the coffin and heard a scream. Pain and grief gripped those present during the last farewell to the little girl, but this grandfather and his dog felt something strange. The old man decided to check. He went to the coffin and heard a scream. What he discovered at that moment will make you cry. Fernando Garcia, a 60-year-old man who suffered a severe stroke of fate, he lost his only son and daughter-in-law in a tragic car accident in which a little girl named Blanca was orphaned, who, fortunately, was not with her parents at the time of the accident. The man was in despair, because as a loving father, he was madly in love with his son, who was a living reminder of his late wife. However, not everything was lost. His granddaughter, a cheerful 7-year-old girl, soon became the light in his life. Since then, this kind grandfather raised Blanca as his own daughter and established a close loving relationship with her. Before the accident that deprived him of his son and daughter-in-law, Fernando was a cheerful optimist, always surrounded by friends. He worked as a mechanic all his life and loved helping people with car problems. However, after the accident, he changed a lot, became more serious, thoughtful and sad, but still he remained kind, affectionate and very devoted to his granddaughter. Despite the difficulties he had to overcome, he remained a strong and brave man who managed to overcome adversity, and became a father figure for Blanqui. And she, in turn, is a very happy and loving girl. They often spent time together, playing in parks or just chatting at home. Fernando did his best to give Blanca a good life full of love, and she reciprocated him. Grandfather made sure that his beloved granddaughter received a good education and supported her in all her studies. However, something important was missing in their lives, and it was about to appear in the most unexpected way. One rainy day, when the family was returning from school, a strong wind tore leaves from the trees. As they were walking down the street to the house, they suddenly heard a soft whine that attracted their attention. When they got closer, they saw a puppy lying on the ground. The baby was shivering from the cold, his hind leg was injured, and his brown eyes showed fear and pain. Fernando and Blanco were touched to see the poor abandoned animal. Without hesitation, Blanco gently lifted the puppy in her arms, trying to calm him down with a gentle voice. "Everything will be fine, little friend, we will help you." "Really, Grandpa?" The man looked at the dog sadly. He couldn't leave her in such a state. The puppy clung to the girl with all his might, as if realizing that he had found someone who would save him. Blanca was gently stroking the puppy with tears in her eyes. She couldn't believe that someone would abandon such a sweet, vulnerable creature. Together they decided to take the puppy to the veterinary clinic. There the dog was cured, and Blanca and Fernando took care of her during her recovery. This moment marked the beginning of a wonderful friendship, and they gave the puppy the name Taika. Seeing the connection his granddaughter had found with the dog, Fernando, without hesitation, took the puppy home. Since then, Taika has become an important part of the family. Her love and devotion manifested from the first moment. The dog soon became a great comfort to this broken family. Taika was a loyal friend who was always there for them, even in difficult times. Taika has grown up to be a strong and healthy dog. She liked to accompany the owners on walks and play with Blanca in the park. Her presence filled the house with life, and the infectious joy made everyone feel better. Tiki's unconditional love was expressed in her every look, bark and lick of her face. Several unforgettable happy years had passed, but the story was ready to take a tragic turn. On a typical day, Fernando was working in his car repair shop, and Taika was lying in the corner, watching the owner. At that moment, the news came, which grandfather did not expect to hear at all. He was informed that his granddaughter had been in a terrible accident while playing with friends in the park. A ball rolling out onto the road made the girl rush after it without looking around. She was hit by a car. Blanca was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Doctors did everything possible to save her, but eventually pronounced her dead. The news greatly shocked Fernando and Taika. The man felt completely crushed. He could not believe that he had lost a loved one again. Taika was confused and saddened, and she could not understand why her friend never returned home, and the owner did not stop crying. That day, Fernando was plunged into deep sadness again. He could not accept the thought of living without Blanca. He felt lonely and empty, and the pain was unbearable. Taika, on the other hand, did not leave Fernando's side and did not stop whining, as if sensing that something terrible had happened. The next morning, the man again had to show strength to attend the funeral of his granddaughter, and, of course, he took a devoted dog with him to say goodbye to his beloved girl. Blanca's funeral was a very difficult moment for the man and the dog. The loss of the girl was devastating for both of them. They were plunged into deep sadness. Fernando was crying like a child and Taika followed him, clearly aware of what was happening. Nevertheless, when they were saying goodbye to the girl and the coffin was being closed, Taika felt something and began to growl and bark insistently. Fernando tried to calm her down, but Taika continued to bark loudly. The man, confused, went to the coffin to see what was the matter, and that's when he heard a quiet sound from inside. Instinctively, Fernando felt that something was wrong. He started shouting, "My Blanca is alive! I have to get her out of there." With determination, he tried to open the coffin, but those present, deciding that grief had robbed the man of his mind, tried to stop him. Taika, on the other hand, stood up defensively, bristling and not letting anyone get close. Fernando tried his best to open the coffin and was amazed to find that Blanca was indeed alive. His cries of joy and relief mingled with Lime, who could not contain her emotions and rushed to the girl, covering her with joyful screams. The doctors who treated Blanca made a mistake in the diagnosis and considered the girl dead. In fact, she had brain damage having caused a state of catalepsy. This is a biological condition in which a person becomes immobile, seems dead and devoid of vital functions. It was a real miracle for Fernando and Tiki, who couldn't believe that Blanca was alive. Taika turned out to be the guardian and protector of Blanca. Her instinct and love for the girl made her act in this way, thereby saving the child's life. Those present at the funeral were shocked and touched by what happened, and some began to call Taika a miraculous dog for her role in saving Blanca. From that moment on, Taika became an even more important member of the family. Her love and devotion were never questioned again. The story of Fernando, Blanc and Tiki teaches us the importance of love and fidelity in our lives. Loss and pain are inevitable, but we must always keep faith and hope in difficult times. Tiki's unconditional love for family shows that animals are capable of loving and protecting just like humans. Dear viewers, if you liked this video, then like and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye.